Welcome to Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and into fitness. Well, this week, the spotlight shines bright on the Onalaska Hilltoppers basketball program. My guests, a pair of seniors, Desmond and Gavin McGrath. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Well, as we tape the show here on January 13th, the Hilltoppers off to a great start, 6-0. You defeated Chippewa Falls last night. You play Wisconsin Rapids this week, and then I am really looking forward to your game at the Midwest Players Classic, which we're going to broadcast on the 16th, and that'll be exciting. So when you look at where you're at so far, and then of course you want to go deep in the postseason. Last year you got derailed on a game we broadcast by the Central Red Raiders, and of course, everything's up in the air on postseason. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. But, Gavin, are you at a spot in the season where you're comfortable?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say we have a long way to go. We have a lot to accomplish still. We're only 6 games in.
How about your personal development? Are you comfortable in that regard?
I'd say I'm happy with the strides I've made, but I think I have a lot more strides to make.
So it's a journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you would never become complacent or satisfied, because that's a recipe for danger and a recipe that you're going to live in the temple of mediocrity. And Desmond, you don't like that temple.
I don't like
you
that.
Satisfied with the team and where you're at?
Obviously, our start to the year has been great. To come out and beat some good teams to start the year and be 6-0 at this point is great. But as a team, teams like Menominee Falls, those are going to be huge, huge games for us. And if we come out with wins in those, that'll be a really good confirmation that we've made a lot of progress.
Personally, what do you need to do to even get to a higher level by the end of the season?
I think it's all the hours that no one sees. We have practice, throughout the day, and then put in time after practice, before practice, whenever you can fit it in, so that you're that much better when it comes to game time and practices.
A lot of players go to practice and work hard during practice, but you read about the successful athletes at any level, and they do go to practice. But as Victor said, their strides are made when the lights are out in the gym, and they're doing other things while many people don't go to that level. Does that describe you, Gavin?
I'd say so, yeah. I'd say it's definitely been harder this year with, not as much now, but before the season started, with gym time and just finding availability to do this stuff with coronavirus. But I'd say yeah, it's super important.
A lot of people think the nation is in crisis mode with what's happening in Washington, racial injustice, economic insecurity, the big gap in income between, say, the haves and the have-nots, and the country is in triage mode, meaning that our hearts are broken, things have changed, the future is uncertain. How have all of these things affected you, Victor?
Well, like you said, with racial inequality and things like that, obviously I'm an African American myself. My mother's African, so to see all that, to see the the pain that it's caused a lot of people, it's really upsetting. But at the end of the day, I try to stand for what's right and what I believe in.
Would you say, though, that you're living in a, maybe not a panacea, not a utopia, not in a perfect community, perfect world, but the racial issues that you see are maybe more subtle than what they see in larger cities.
In larger cities, yeah.
And that you're not immune to it, but your personality, your family, your support among the school and your team and so on, takes sort of puts that behind you. It's not as prevalent. It's not something that's on your mind.
Right, correct, yeah. I mean, the community's always been amazing to me. The people in the city of Onalaska have always supported me in everything I do. I have a great family. So
Well, you've earned that respect, though, too. So, keep that in mind. But, Gavin, you talked about the pandemic, and certainly high school students are a lot more sort of aware of things than maybe they were years and years ago. And the future is going to be yours in not too many years. You're going to be making the decisions where people my age will not be. How do you want to see the world and the nation change when you're making decisions?
That's tough to say, but I know you're talking about like a lot of racial inequality issues, and there's so many issues like that we need to.
Well, I'm talking about the insurrection. I'm talking about leadership that runs in this country, the divisiveness that we see.
Yeah, I think standing together like as a group, like as a team, like our basketball team, like one of us alone, like we can't do anything on a basketball court. But if we play together as a team, like it really helps us out. So I'd say the same thing for like our country, really anything. Like as long as you're not divided, if you're together, it just helps everyone out.
So we used to have, when I was coaching, we had an acronym. It was team, but then together everyone accomplishes more. That was on our shirts. You're a team. Together everyone accomplishes more. There's a lot, as we well know, there's a lot of selfishness that we see all the time. I see it as a broadcaster, as an official. You see it in your world with teams or players. But that's not what you're all about, is it, Victor?
Not at all. I think that it's very hard to accomplish things, big things, by yourself, and especially in this country, united we stand, together, or divided we fall. So it's really hard to accomplish anything when there's so much fighting and arguing going on, and people can't agree, and there's so many different opinions and sides.
How can you change that?
I think the more we start to understand each other, and then we can find ways to get along through that.
Mutual respect?
Mutual respect.
Like walking before you criticize others, like an old Native American saying, don't criticize unless you walk in their moccasins?
Correct.
Things like that?
Yeah.
Well, athletes are on a platform. And one of the things that athletes need to be aware of is that you are given a gift, and it says, like it says in the Bible, to much that's given, much is expected. You were given gifts, both of you were. A lot of people watching this show, a lot of young people, never had your gift. They wanted to be Victor Desmond, they wanted to be Gavin McGrath, but just weren't that fortunate. So you're on a platform. When you walk around in Onalaska, when you get on and off the bus going to another place, when you're on the court, what do people see? Anywhere you go, they recognize you because you are on that proverbial platform. Some people can't accept that, and it's hard for them to be on display all the time. Thoughts, Victor?
I think, I've steadily risen on that platform. I mean, sophomore year, it was like people knew who I was, but I wasn't anything serious. Junior year, and I got a little more, and then this year, having to step up and take a bigger role, that's a lot of people know who I am a lot more because of that. But, just doing the right thing. It's integrity. That's the way I was raised. My parents have always made sure that I was doing the right thing because you never know who's watching.
That's for sure. And when you're on the court, Gavin, and I've watched you, so I sort of know the answer, but maybe a lot of our viewers are unaware, but what do you want people to see? What do you want your parents? What do you want viewers? What do you want to see teammates and opponents see and say about you when the game's over with?
That's tough to say, but at the same time, I'd say I want people to see that I gave it my all, that we as a team gave it our all, and yeah.
What do you want them to see when you're walking around school and all the kids sitting at that lunch table say, oh my goodness, there's Gavin McGrath? What do you want them to say?
I mean, I don't really see a difference. Like, me and anyone else sitting at the lunch table, it's like we're both humans. We're both the same people. It's just I play basketball, and it's really no difference.
And that's what I see in you too. But that's what, and you treat all people with respect, don't you?
Try to.
And you learned that at home because of your solid family background. And that's one of the reasons you're on the show. Not only because of your gift, but in basketball, but because of what you stand for. Teachable spirit, humility, servant leadership, toughness, enthusiasm, all those kinds of qualities which separate just the average athlete from an athlete that is on a journey to be successful, because only 80% of what you accomplish in this world is going to be from the neck up. 80% of the things you accomplish on the court is from the neck up, and you realize that. So it's like I'm giving a pep talk here. I'm not really, but well, we're gonna step aside. Just you know what halftime is, right?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna take a little halftime break, and when we come back, more here on Seven Rivers Sports.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
You know, the thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
Seven Rivers Sports. What a great show, talking to 2 quality Onalaska High School seniors that star on the basketball court, Gavin McGrath and Victor Desmond. Coach Cole played for me many years ago. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I knew that. He's told us a few times. He had some good stories about his days in high school.
And at the club. And I talked to him recently about you guys, and here's what he said about Victor Desmond. Charismatic, hardworking, athletic, brings incredible energy, absolutely passionate about the game. Big difference between lukewarm and warm. A lot of people are lukewarm. You're warm. You're hot, meaning that you give 100% every time you're on the court. And so I'm hoping that after your debut on the show, you'll give 110%, which I think you probably will. But what's your thought on what Coach Cole said about you, Victor?
You know, my relationship with Coach Cole is you know, it's unbelievable. I think as a coach, he'd do anything for any of us. And him and I have gotten really close over the last couple of years, but to hear him say that, you know, it means a lot. Gavin
McGrath is a young man who's improved each year on the court, and I've seen that. His defensive presence in the post at 6'11", close to it, bothering shooters, agile, soft shooting touch for a big man. I don't know if our viewers saw the game which we broadcast, Onalaska versus Holman, a guy that I really enjoy watching. He's going to be on the show too. His name is Cole Calander. He popped out. He's about 6'5", 6'6". He popped out and hit a 3. What do you think happened when Gavin McGrath saw that? He popped a 3 in that game. And so So unique personality, people truly like being around you. But you're a quiet person, but what's your thought about that way to describe you?
I'd say it's real fair. It's fair. I think it fits me. We were talking about Cole and how he hit that three, and then I had to take one. I don't think it was like it wasn't like a personal thing. Like, I didn't see him take that shot, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should take a shot because he took that. It's not like that. It's just, you know, whatever falls into place.
Well, you were open and you felt it. Yeah. You're in rhythm. But on the broadcast, I said they matched each other. It's like, if you can do it, I can do it. Now, that might have been on your mind, but it was on my mind. Yeah. Gavin McGrath, a senior. Years have flown by, haven't they? I mean, all of a sudden you're going to graduate, and oh my goodness, it's all over with. But then there's, of course, the next chapter of your life, which is at the University of North Dakota, and you're recruited there. What about the years flying by? Regrets, thoughts, defining moments?
I'd say, I don't want to sound like cocky or anything like that, but I'd say that I'm proud of myself and how far I've come, where I've came from. So I went to Cooley Christian School through 8th grade, and their basketball program was, it was fun. It was fun to play for their basketball program, but it wasn't at the same level as Onalaska was. So then coming to Onalaska was a big change for me and just a big step up, and I had to adjust, and I feel at this point that I'm proud of myself for how far I've come.
I don't think anybody watching this show, Gavin, would think that you're cocky, because you're confident, you're reserved. I'm glad that you're confident, and there's an old saying goes like this: you're either your worst enemy or your best friend. And if you're your worst enemy, that means you're so hard on yourself, you're never satisfied. And you don't want to be too satisfied, but you are your best friend, aren't you? Because you're comfortable in your own skin. That's good. That's good to know. I see the same thing with Victor. Years have flown by, and I know in talking to your dad, who's a friend of mine, that there are offers on the table. There's UWL has shown some interest. Viterbo has shown some interest. UW Stevens Point. I mean, there's other schools, and you both have the ability to play collegiately. Where may you end up next year?
As of right now, I've decided that I'm not going to decide on anything until the rest of the season plays out. I've been hearing, from schools around the country, different places. So see how that falls into place, and then, ultimately at the end of this year, I'll make my decision.
So you're gonna keep us all guessing until. So we're gonna have you back on the show, and then you're gonna unveil to our viewers all across the world, like, all right, I got an announcement to make. Yeah. You're gonna say, the announcement is, I'm gonna stay in the city, so my family can watch me.
Yeah, I love the schools.
Just an idea. So. Mom and Dad have been inspirational in your life, and we watched your brother Simon play the other night at Holman. And so, you've had many people that have inspired you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my parents, they're my rocks, my foundation. They made a lot of who I am today. Made a lot of the things that I've done very possible. And they've always believed in me and trusted me with the things that I do, and I can't ask for anything more than that.
And with you, Gavin, and a lot of people probably don't know that that I know your family so well too. And your grandfather was a close friend, died a few years ago, and he was at the club all the time. And I know Grandma Judy lives in Rochester, and she's hopefully going to be able to watch this show, and she's a big supporter. And Gus, your uncle, but your mom has. The kind of personality, too, that is very supportive, kind, just like your family. That kind of describes your family.
Yeah, I'd say it does. My family has been way unbelievably supportive, like, throughout my whole life. Like, with anything I do, it's always, like, my family's been pushing me to be the best me I can be and getting me in the situations that need to be in to make myself better.
That's another gift that you have. Parental support, which and family support, which a lot of kids aren't lucky enough to have. So no matter what kind of, if you have a game that you're struggling and you're not playing as well as you thought, your parents still, they find a silver lining. They're not criticizing. They're not saying, hey, you can do better than that. They're just supportive, both of you. That's great to know. So last year you won the conference championship, and you're on your way this year too. And so, describe for our viewers the culture of the Onalaska basketball program. Victor?
I mean, it's really a family, you know, to the max. It's every guy on that team, you know, we do anything for each other. It's always been that way as long as I've been in the program, and from what I've heard from previous players, it's been like that for as long as Coach Cole's been around. And, you know, I mean, we really trust each other. We love playing together. Every day at practice is fun because we love to just be around each other and support each other all the time.
Now, it's obviously with your gift and being a senior and a leader, you are certainly somebody that people point at as being one of the key components. But define for our viewers what leadership means to you, Victor.
I think leadership is, in a basketball sense, making the extra pass. You know, playing as a team, making sure everybody stays involved, you know, picking each other up when, you know, a guy makes a mistake or misses a shot, you know, you'll get the next one. It's all right, it's all good, and we're in this together. So it's not just about me, it's about everybody. It's about from 1 through 15, every player on our team matters.
Good to hear, because sometimes players that are on the end of the bench are forgotten about. And that always concerns me as a grandparent, as a broadcaster, as a community member. Some of those kids at the end of the bench. How do you make sure that those players that don't see the court very often are engaged? How do you do that, Gavin?
I would say I don't even have to make sure they are. Like, our bench is always engaged, like cheering us on, like doing what they're supposed to be doing, like in practice. It's not like they're just like walking around because they don't play. They're not mad about it. They still go hard, and I think that's what makes us better as a team.
You said in your profile that leadership is guiding people in the right direction. How do you do that? What if somebody goes in the wrong direction? They get derailed. Do you step out and perhaps help?
I'd say kind of I have to know my limits, I'd say. So if there's lost my train of thought there.
What if they're going in the wrong direction and you spot that, and as a leader, you have the ability to bring them back?
Absolutely. Like, I'm gonna try my best to, you know, help out everyone on the team. Like, and I think it's not even that we have certain leaders on our team. I think everyone leads in their own way. I'd say, like, everyone helps each other in the right direction.
You said your philosophy of life as a young high schooler is like make every second count before your time runs out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, all we have is time. That's really all we have. So if we don't make the most of it, like, what was our life worth?
Of course, you came from Cooley Christian, great school. I know a lot of people there. Any regrets about making that move?
Moving to Onalaska from Cooley Christian?
You've kept your faith.
Yep.
So there's a strong tie there yet, and no regrets about doing that.
I'd say it was difficult leaving there, but I really did get welcomed by Onalaska, like, better than I could have expected. So, no.
Victor Desmond said, life's too short to wait. Grab a hold of your dreams before someone else takes them from you. What are your dreams?
You know, ultimately, you know, I just want to be successful in life. And, you know, everybody has their own opinion on success and what that means to them. But I also want to make sure that at the end of my life that I made other people's lives better, so that it wasn't, you know, I did this, and that, and it only helped me. Because the way you impact, the way that, like you'd said earlier, talking about changing the world, changing the country, how we can impact, you have to make a difference on other people's lives. My mom tells me that all the time. Every day I leave the house, go make a difference.
That's what you do in your meditation. Because a lot of people don't know that Victor Desmond meditates.
All the time. Watched a lot of interviews with Kobe Bryant, obviously an amazing basketball player, and rest his soul, but he meditated all the time. He said it kept him focused, kept him calm, level-headed, and I took that and I was like, why can't I do that?
One of the gifts that I have as a broadcaster and as a host of the show is I get to meet people like Victor Desmond, Gavin McGrath, and it's special for me. And I know I hear from our viewers all the time that that they are as impressed with who is on the show as I am. So it's been a pleasure this week to be able to visit with and get to know Victor Desmond and Gavin McGrath. So a lot of basketball ahead. We'll be broadcasting some of your games. So continued good luck and stay healthy.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts and a film clip from a recent game right after this.
The thing I'm most proud of when I think about our company is the reputation that we've been able to build in this community. Our technicians have done a great job going out and performing magnificent jobs for the customer. And our customers have rewarded us with some really great reviews online.
We have over 150 5-star reviews online right now. Our technicians do a great job out there, and our reviews show it.
We can say without hesitation, when you choose Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, you'll be glad you did.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Well, a full day at the Crosse Center on Saturday as we covered all 8 games in the 11th Annual Midwest Players Classic. Brad Reinhardt and his team of volunteers from Aquinas did a great job in assembling some special teams and showcasing some gifted athletes. The opening game featured the Aquinas Blue Goals versus the undefeated Luther Knights, Luther winning 41-33. Game 2, the highly regarded Bangor Cardinals from the Scenic Bluffs Conference over Somerset 66-60. Game 3 had some special D1 talent with Oshkosh Lourdes nipping Darlington at the buzzer from the Swall Conference 63-62. Holman continued to impress everyone as they soundly beat Northwestern 63-49. The Hilltoppers of Onalaska continued their unbeaten season, beating Menominee Falls 45-43. River Falls, one of the top teams in the Big Rivers Conference, over Monona Grove 67-54. Hudson 62, Verona 44, and the nightcap featured the Tomah Timberwolves in an impressive win over Kaukauna, Tomah winning 64-55. Well, that does it this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will have an active and a healthy week ahead.